Hello, and welcome back to Pantry Eats. It's been a long time coming, and I know what you're thinking. Audrey, did you get another apartment? No, I'm still in the crusty one, but we're in a brand new kitchen, and that's all thanks to our friends at the Gaylord College of Journalism and Mass Communication. Our hiatus was completely worth it because now we're backed by a huge team of creative media production students who are going to help me look a little bit better on camera, although we all know that probably isn't even possible. All right, so today we're kicking it off with 2 recipes in 1 episode. We made you wait long enough, so we're here to reward you a little bit. We're going to kick things off with some Jello today and then move into our main course of tacos. As always, your primary ingredients for these recipes can be found at the OU Food Pantry. We're here to help hook you up with recipes that are dorm-friendly and super affordable. So, are you ready to get started? I am. For your Jello, you're going to first need a measuring cup. Jello is one of my favorite recipes because it's super easy and the ingredients are on the box. When I first suggested to Matt Marks that we start a cooking show, they all assumed that I said that because I knew how to cook. He's finding out live in the audience right now that I never knew. So we're going to start things off pretty easy to get us back warmed up. You'll take your measuring cup over to the sink and fill it up with 1.5 cups of water. Beautiful. All right, you'll take this over and get it boiling on the stove. If you don't have a stovetop where you live or in your dorm, you can also use a water boiler that you might use for tea or oatmeal. That was one of my favorite hacks freshman year. We'll give this a little bit of time to heat up, but let's keep prepping our other ingredients. You didn't think I'd come back and just do standard Jello, did you? We're going to spice this up a little bit and add some fruit in to make it a little bit more refreshing and add some nutrients. Now, the type of fruit you use is really up to you. You can use fresh fruit like bananas, oranges, strawberries, but you can also use a canned fruit cocktail that you could get from the food pantry. If you're feeling really spicy, you could even use frozen fruits, although you'll want to let them thaw a little bit before you add them in. Today, I'll be using bananas and strawberries, which are my favorite. All right, now that we have our fruit all prepared, I'm going to teach you the best life hack you'll ever need to know. You got to open your bananas from the bottom. This is how the monkeys do it, and I feel like they're a trustworthy source on bananas. By doing this, those annoying little strings just fall more naturally along with the peel. I don't know if that's actually true, but I read it on Pinterest in like 4th grade, and it's really stuck with me, and I'm not ready to give it up quite yet. All right. Once we're all peeled, you can pop this onto a cutting board. Mom, if you're watching, this is a plastic knife. She never really let me graduate from those. All right. You're gonna wanna cut these into fairly thin slices, but also enough that you get a good bite while you're eating. All right, there's 1 banana down. And we'll move into our strawberries. We'll wash these bad boys. The trick is to pick fruit that complements the flavor of Jello you chose. Today we'll be making strawberry Jello, so I had to be a little bit too on the nose and also get real strawberries. But if you choose to go for cherry, you could use sweeter fruits. Did I say vegetables earlier? Interesting. But you could use sweeter fruits to offset the tartness, or if you get lime Jello, I just wouldn't get lime Jello. Do people like lime Jello? I don't. Okay. All right, now that we have our fruit prepped and our water's boiling, we're going to send you over to a break and come back when we're ready to make our next steps. Welcome back. While you were gone, our water started boiling and we're ready to move on to our next steps. This is the fun part because it's where the Jello actually comes in. As I mentioned previously, I'm going with strawberry today. I think it's probably the best. I like the red ones. Cherry's all right too. What you're going to want to do is make sure that you've shaken it down so no powder explodes when you open it. Easy tear open. And then you can pour this directly into the dish that you're hoping to make it in. If you want to do fun shapes, that's worth considering, but for today, we just have a casserole dish. I try to disperse it pretty evenly, but we'll be adding our water soon, and that'll help with that process as well. We can now move over to our stove, grab our boiling water, and ever so carefully, you're going to be pouring this into the casserole dish while mixing and helping to make the Jello dissolve. This honestly looks so cool. All right. Oh wow, it smells good too. Can you smell that, Colin? He can. All right. Now that we have our boiling water, we're gonna have to add some cool water to offset that. We'll move over to our sink and fill up our water measuring cup with cold water this time. You'll go all the way to the top for 2 cups. All right, once again moving back over to our casserole dish and stirring while you add. All right, now before we send this off to the fridge to cool, I'm going to tell you about some cool things happening at the pantry. As I mentioned, we had about a year-long hiatus since I last got to see you on the set of Pantry Eats. In that time, our client base has grown a ton, and we've been able to help more people on campus than ever. We have a huge ambassador team that are out on campus tabling every single week, and we're seeing more friendly faces come through our doors every time we're open. We've also partnered with the Sharing Tree in Oklahoma City to be providing items of clothing and kitchen supplies to people who come and visit. That's especially exciting for me when I know that those tools can help people make my recipes. We're also super excited to be approaching our 5-year anniversary towards the end of March. We have a huge crew coming in to help us celebrate and highlight the things that the pantry has been doing. Be sure to check out for that on our social media. But for now, we're gonna wanna get this in the fridge. Because like I said, everything's going pretty solid at the pantry, but this is definitely not. We're back, and the Jello's been chilling in the fridge for about an hour and a half. To know when you're ready for the next step, you'll wanna keep an eye on it and look for when it's semi-solid. You can test this by dragging a spoon through it, and if it leaves a clear path, you're about ready to add in your fruit. After you toss in your fruit, get it evenly dispersed, you'll want to pop it back into the fridge for about half an hour to an hour. But because this is Hollywood, we kind of already did that. And I know what you're thinking. Audrey, is that a different casserole dish? No, it's not. All right, so you'll see our finished product just like this. Our fruit is still looking fresh and ready to be eaten, but it's fully submerged and stuck into our Jello. Now, here comes the fun part, is getting to plate it. I was feeling kind of fancy today, so we're gonna go with a glass, but depending on the gathering you're hosting, you could use a ramekin, a bowl, or just a plate. If perhaps you're having an OU football viewing party, you could cut it into footballs or stars because all our players are stars, but I'm just gonna go with squares because I don't always trust myself. All right, so I'm just cutting it vertically, and then we'll go horizontally. Guys, this is looking so good. I almost feel guilty that you won't be able to eat it with me, but I'm excited for you guys to try to make this at home, and you can let us know on social media how it turned out for you. Now that we have things sliced up, we'll grab our first glass. Our first piece. She's beautiful. All right. I'm already thinking about next time I make this, what different fruits I'll want to try. I'm really intrigued to try the fruit cocktail because that adds a lot of flavor with the juice in the can as well. But again, you really can't go wrong. It's Jello. All right, I am going to be having a friend join me pretty soon, but he doesn't know about what I've been up to, so I'll make one for him to surprise him with, but the most important one is still for me. All right, and our final glass. All right. The nice thing about this recipe is that the Jello comes up so nicely from the pan, so it really won't be too much of a cleanup job. Okay. All right, I think we might be ready to bring in my friend Jack.
Hi Audrey, thank you so much for having me on.
Of course, thank you for coming. Jack is in his capstone semester of his senior year, and he's working on a big project before he graduates. We're so lucky to have had him choose the food pantry to focus on this semester. Do you want to tell us a bit about what you're doing?
Yeah, so doing service learning, I've had the opportunity to work closely volunteering with the OU Food Pantry, while in tandem learning about food insecurity in my own class, researching it, and I've just found it incredibly rewarding to get that knowledge, but then go and be part of a local organization that's on a community level fighting food insecurity. It's really awesome. Almost as wonderful as this dish I see here.
You saw my surprise! I was gonna tell you, as a thank you for everything that you've been doing for us, you do get something very, very special, my cooking.
Thank you so much.
There's a spoon you can use right over there. I'm eager to hear what you think.
It's really good.
I would have to agree. I might be finishing this pan later, again, making it even easier for cleanup. So tell me a bit more. What are you studying this year?
So I've just started the preliminary steps of research, but I've been looking at kind of other food pantries around the world. So far I've kind of seen how places in Australia and Canada have approached it, and I've really loved how it's a community idea of building relationships around food. And we really don't understand how people might be, suffering because of their access to food, or how much they know about how to prepare their own meals. It's been awesome.
That's really interesting. And I love what you said about community around food, because through my time at the pantry, I've met my best friends on campus through the pantry. And through this show, I've gotten to meet so many amazing people. And I hope the people watching this as well feel like they've gained a sense of connection to our OU community through seeing what we're doing. And even if you're far away from campus, you can have a role in this. Engaging with us on social media, donating, volunteering your time like Jack is doing makes such a huge difference for everything we're doing. So on that sappy note, we're gonna send you off to break, and when you come back, we're making tacos. Welcome back. Now that we've had our Jello appetizer, we're ready for the main event. I thought tacos would be the perfect choice for Pantry Eats, because who doesn't love a taco? No matter what your taste preferences are, you can find the perfect fillings to put inside and make sure that you're getting the meal you want. But today, we're primarily going to be focused on using corn and beans for the majority of our filling. I chose these because these are ingredients that you can very easily get at the food pantry and make sure that you're ready to start cooking. The beans are also a great source of protein, so even if you don't have meat on hand, you'll have a very filling meal. We're going to start by popping open our 2 cans of vegetables. I'm going to start just by cracking these open a little bit, and then we can move over to the sink to drain them. These come with a lot of juices inside, and if that all ended up in your taco, it'd be pretty soggy and sad. So, pro tip. All right. Use that little tab and come on over to the sink. All right. You can do a little bit of draining after we heat it up as well, so no worries if you don't get it all right now. Cool beans? That was corny, sorry. All right. Now that they're all drained, we'll open them up a bit more and start scooping them into our bowl. Now, this bowl I'm using right now is microwave safe, We worked really hard to make this recipe dorm friendly because I know we're all sick of microwave oatmeal and ramen. So you definitely can heat up these ingredients just inside a dorm room microwave, or you could heat them up on a stovetop. Either way, I promise it's going to be delicious. All right, we'll add some of our corn. And to get this fully flavorful and ready for our tacos, we're going to add just a bit of taco seasoning. All right, and once you've got that added in, you'll want to give it a good mix. Again, this will become a lot more integrated and softened up once we get it into our microwave. And we're ready to do that now. I'll send us to break while we heat this up, but I'll see you soon to assemble. All right, guys, welcome back from the break. It's time to start prepping our fillings before we get our primary ingredients out of the microwave. Today, I've opted for some fresh tomatoes from the pantry to make up our vegetable component. I know it's a debate, but there was a tomato on VeggieTales, so I just feel like we're gonna go with vegetable. But most importantly, we're gonna wash this. You'll also want to take the sticker off, usually before you start washing it, because mine is now dissolving. There we go. All right, finish scrubbing that. And you'll see that for this recipe, we have an even bigger knife. Colin, I might need you to blur this in editing. But we'll start just by taking off our stem, and we can continue cutting this into slices like you'd see on a nice cheeseburger. I know you're like, I'm not putting an entire tomato slice on my taco. Don't worry, this is just the first step for dicing. So now that we have our first few slices done, we can go again in a stack. And you'll see that this is a nice and juicy tomato, which makes a bit of a mess, but it will also add a bit more liquid to your taco. I know you might be worried with the beans and the tortilla, but this will make sure that everything tastes nice and fresh, even if you aren't adding a more liquidy component like sour cream or guac. All right, we'll continue dicing that up a bit more, and then we'll move into assembling. So I'll pull our ingredients out of the microwave. This smells so good, you guys. And it didn't even explode. I maybe should have covered this, but it worked out. You might want to cover this when you make it at home. All right, we'll grab a plate. And once again, I'll be surprising a guest with the miracle of my cooking. So I'm going to prep 2 tacos for us right now. I opted for small tortillas because I think they're cuter, but really any size will work. All right, we'll lay those out. And we'll grab our spoon, and you can just easily scoop some of this out, spread it down through the middle of your tortilla. You'll see that we've retained a bit of the bean juice, which again adds to the liquidy component, but this won't be soggy. We don't do soggy tacos. All right. Second one all laid out. We'll bring this over to our tomato station. I'm a master chef. I didn't know if that was going to work, and I just kind of committed to it. You can also use a spoon. All right. I've grabbed some salsa for us to dip these in, but I think they're ready to be wrapped. All right, we'll fold this up Taco Bell style. Flip it so it stays closed, and that's a wrap. I mean, it's not actually. We'll be coming back, but we are going to take a break now. All right, to help me taste our final recipe of this show, I have a very special guest. Matt Marks is OU's campus care coordinator and one of the very first people involved in bringing a food pantry to OU. He's been here since the very beginning, so it's only fitting that he's here for my tacos. Matt, come on in.
What's going on, Audrey? How you doing?
It's been pretty good, Matt. I'm not gonna lie. It's so great to be back in the kitchen. It's so good to see you. And you guys might remember Matt from our very first episode of Pantry Eats. And Matt, we've come a long way since then. Do you want to talk about that journey?
It's been a long time. Well, it's got to be a year and a half now. Right?
Yeah.
Seems like forever ago. But what a time that was, starting out in the days back at the apartment, and just a few of us on our team that were trying to put together a show, and we tried. We tried to put together a show. It was a lot of fun, though. A lot of laughs, great food. And I'm glad we're here. We got a great team at Gaylord College helping us out now, so it's awesome.
Yeah, it's really good to be back. And this show obviously is a lot of fun for me. I hope you can tell. But it's also something that we really hope helps you guys out, whether it's making you more familiar with what we're doing at the pantry or giving you recipes that you'll actually use. I'd love to see some of you guys trying these tacos. And speaking of trying these tacos, you want to try some with me, Matt?
I didn't have lunch today, so this looks amazing.
All right.
I'm excited.
All right. Here we go.
All right.
I'm going to get some salsa.
Yeah. Oh, losing a little tomato there.
It's all good. More to go around. Oh, wow.
It's amazing.
I'm kind of impressed with myself.
Yeah, this got
I'm
just
making
the
a
right.
mess.
Yeah. It's got a good kick to it too.
I know. I wasn't expecting the kick. We're gonna need some water on set, Colin. But it is really delicious, and if you guys aren't ready for the spice, maybe don't get the hot salsa. But I'm glad you're enjoying it, Matt, and I hope you guys enjoyed this as well. It's been so much fun being back on set with you, and we'll be seeing you a lot more frequently now. Thank you, and have a great night.